speaking engagement here from Frank. I must tell you that I had dinner with Frank one time, brought him up to Richmond. We celebrated the life of Wendell Scott, the Jackie Robinson of NASCAR. And I had Frank come and meet some of our friends and senators and delegates and lobbyists. And he kept them engaged in storytelling for 3 hours. And they turned the lights off in the restaurant, and they did not want to leave. They want more. And so you're going to get that tonight. We're very excited as we open Legendary Conversations. There is no better, no greater legend of Southside Virginia than Wendell Scott. So I want to welcome you here. I think we take a tour of the building. What you're seeing now is the foundation, the building block to the new economy, educating our children to reaching back in our community and creating not only scholars that turn out to be well employed, break the cycle of poverty, but also will bring industry back into our area. So without further ado, I also have the pleasure and honor of introducing to you our executive director, who's done such a fabulous job. We've been doing a lot of exciting things here. We're focusing on engineering, advanced manufacturing, cybersecurity, 4-year degrees. But the leader that brings us all there is right here to my right, your left, Dr. Leanna Blevins.
Thank you, Senator Stanley, who is our current board chair here at New College Institute. We appreciate you facilitating the relationship between the Wendell Scott Foundation and New College Institute that we're very excited about. So let me add my welcome to Senator Stanley's welcome. We're very glad you're here. I know some folks traveled in from Richmond and beyond, so we're really glad to have you here, especially if it's your first time here. If you'd like to look around the building, or if you want to come back again some other time, we are happy to do that for you. You know, tonight we're going to hear a little bit about the past, about the life and the legacy of Wendell Scott, and I know we're all excited to hear about that. But I want to tell you a little bit about what happened here last week when we were talking with the foundation about the future. The Wendell Scott Foundation facilitated here at NCI a summer camp for high school students that was called Steering to STEM. We did talk a little bit about the legacy of Wendell Scott, and that's important. It's good to hear about, it's good to learn from, it's good to know. But what we did, what the instructors with the Wendell Scott Foundation did, was to plant the seeds for the future. We have to take what we've learned about our past, and we have to build more and bigger and better. And that starts with our youth. And that's what was so important about last week, is we focused on the future. And so tonight, I'm so glad you're here to join us in reflecting on our past. But what we want to do is take what Mr./Coach Scott is going to talk about and what he spent his career doing, and that is invest this knowledge, this energy into what happens next, into building our future. So thank you for being a part of this. We're really looking forward to this evening and to the other events to come this year. If you're interested in finding out more about the events to come with the Wendell Scott Foundation and other events here at NCI, there are these cards that are out front. I want to make sure you fill one out so that we can have your email address and your contact information, because we want you to come back again. We want you to be a part of what we're doing as we're building the future and the new economy in our region. Thank you again, and I think I'm going to turn this over to Warwick Scott to introduce the VIPs tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Good evening again. Good evening. All right. So, first thing I want to say is New College Institute is state of the art, so they have impeccable Wi-Fi. Okay, so we want everyone to take plenty of pictures, tweet, reshare, so you can show everyone how fabulous you all look and what they're missing from not being there. Okay, so take advantage of the Wi-Fi. Okay, so welcome to Legendary Conversations. This is Legendary Conversations Volume 1. Legendary Conversations is designed for my unique family history to be able to be brought to life from a more interpersonal perspective, from Scott family racing and the Scott family. My uncle Wendell Jr. is here, my father Frank Scott is here, and we want to hear their side of the story. Many of you that may be familiar with Wendell Scott's legacy, you have seen documentaries, you maybe watched movies, newspaper clips. However, the story can never really be told. So we want to break it down into volumes so we can slowly, accurately tell you and share with you how my family, long before I was ever born, was able to erase the narrative of can't and replace it with can do. Julian Patano, good friend of mine, very busy man. He is a very successful actor. We share a grind together as he was coming up the ranks, as well as what we were doing with the foundation. So I want to personally thank you for making time to come here this evening. He drove all the way from Atlanta. Shameless plug, he's going to be on Being Mary Jane here coming next week on BET. Shameless plug, I wanted to put that out there because he works really hard. Okay? My father again, Mr. Frank Scott. Daddy, thank you for being willing to do this. Thank you for being willing to share. And with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Legendary Conversations. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Before we start our Q&A, I'd just like to thank everyone for being here. Thank my family. Thank my so many friends that I've known throughout the years. When I used to work in this area, the Wendell Scott Foundation, my Warwick, his wife Shanique, his staff, Frankie J, his wife, my wife. Raise your hand up, Mabel. That's my wife right there. Okay. So many dear friends here. I want to just thank you, and I wanted to say that before we start our Q&A. But a little bit about the foundation. The foundation is a fulfillment of a vision that my father had over 50 years ago. In some restaurant, I'm not sure what state it was, but I know it was in the Deep South, 50 years ago, over 50 years ago. We were on our way back from a racing. You know, back then you raced like 2 or 3 times a week. So we found a restaurant that we could actually be served in. And my father was sitting there that morning, and he was looking out at the picture one at the restaurant, and he was just, I said, what are you thinking about? He said, well, you see those kids out there? He said, there's no telling where they slept last night. He said they probably haven't had breakfast. Some of them didn't have shirts and shoes on. He said, if I ever become wealthy, doing what I'm doing, in racing, I want to build orphanage homes all over the South for kids such as that. So now we come back 50 years later, and our children and have a vision, fulfillment of a vision that my father had. Is it spiritual? You know, I don't know how you want to put that, but I know it's something to be said about it. And I know it's no accident. So with that being said, let's do some questions.
Mr. Scott, thank you for the Scott family. Thank you, Mr. Ward. Like Ward said, you know, we grind. We're out here pursuing our purposes together. And yes, we did drive up myself and my team. I want to thank my team for being very helpful in getting me here. This event, this conversation is very important on so many different levels, so many different fronts. And I appreciate all of you for attending. So keep your hearts open, keep your minds open. What you're about to receive, definitely something special. Let us begin. So, Mr. Frank and Scott, it was said that your grandfather, William Ira Scott, was a mechanic, and actually one of the first black chauffeurs to operate an automobile in Danville. Is that true?
That's true. He was a mechanic, but he also chauffeured. Back then, there weren't many cars in Danville. So he drove a kind of prosperous white family that had a car. They shared a car. And he drove for both families. So that's true.
Wow. That was interesting. There's a video for this.
Father was a mechanic and chauffeured one of the first automobiles in Danville. Scott's father later abandoned.
Oh, okay. I guess you all get the picture. So, is that it? So how old were you when you started working with your father, and what was your upbringing like?
Well, my brother and I, we both started, first of all, learning what tools were which. Different size wrenches, different things that my father would need to assist him in working on cars. I was probably, I remember being 7 years old. My brother's 14 months older than I am, so, but we were together, and that's when we started. We learned to give him the proper tools that he needed. Also, we did a lot of washing parts. We did a lot of washing up parts and things like that. And whatever he needed us to do, we had to do it.
Interesting. So let me ask you another question in addition to that. So what was the difference, do you feel like your childhood was from other children in your peer group? Being that you guys had the duties of, being a pit crew.
Well, it taught us life skills. It taught us survival skills. It taught us that no matter, one of my father's main sayings he used to say, when it gets too tough, everybody else is just right for me. Now, he may have done that to inspire us, but he really felt that way. And he just felt like that. He didn't believe in the words can't and never. We weren't allowed to use those words growing up. And so we carried it into our adult life and with our children and our grandchildren.
Awesome. Thank you for that. In the documentary, Scott, NASCAR Hall of Famer Junior Johnson says that if I had to race with the stuff that he had, I wouldn't have raced 10 races. What does that mean to you? Explain it to everybody.
Well, he told the truth. He had major sponsorship, and we never had any major sponsorship. The most sponsorship we could have was maybe a local person would help a little bit, or maybe a friend would help a little bit, maybe buy a tank of gas or something like that. We never had we never had the things that really, where my father could really show his ability. He couldn't go all out a lot of times because it was a business and we had to use business sense. So he knows that, and I appreciate him saying that because he told the truth.
Very good. Did his time as a soldier mechanic in World War II with General Patton contribute to his, ingenuity?
Well, he learned some things in the Army. One of the things that he learned, my brother could attest to this, my father was actually using nitrous oxide before it became compressed gas. And he had a little canister in the car that he could, it had a terrible odor. But he learned a lot of things in the Army. He brought with him back.
How did your father nurture his need for speed? According to Scott's story again, is it true that he was a very successful moonshiner? That's what I heard. He was a moonshiner.
Well, that's what they say. Well, he does have a legacy that he subsidized his income.
Those supplemental things going on right there. I believe there's a video on that too, is that?
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
You make it through 1 week, hoping you make it through the next week without getting called. And I'm not bragging about it, but it was a part of my life.
There you go.
Let's clap that up right there. There you go. Able to use something that most would deem unpreferred, non-preferred, and switch it into something great. Awesome. What was his career in the Dixie circuit like?
Well, he started out in the Dixie circuit. There were several different racing organizations, but one in Danville was the Dixie circuit. It had 2 flags. One was a checkered flag, crossed with a Confederate flag. And my father and some of his friends would go to Speedway, Danville Fairgrounds. If you ever coming down where Ollie's is, that was where the track was. And they would go down and watch the races, and that's how it kind of started. But the Dixie circuit was a circuit that where he started. There were other organizations. NASCAR wasn't a part of that at that particular time. That's where he started.
Interesting. Very interesting. What preparations went into his first NASCAR race, and where was it held?
March 4th, 1961, in Spartanburg Fairgrounds. They call it Piedmont Speedway. As much as I can remember in preparation to go down there, first of all, we were moving from the minor leagues or the mid-level to the major leagues of racing. So, it was great anticipation. He made sure that his engine was tuned immaculately. We did as much as we can to get the car ready. Suspension, we didn't know that the car was a jumper, but it was new to us. He just prepared, and he was such an engineer. He was a mechanical engineer with no formal education. And he had such instincts and abilities working on vehicles. So, he was excited. He knew that he had confidence that he could drive and race against anybody, and he proved it.
So, preparing for that race, it was yourself and your brother that made sure that the car was ready to go.
Yes, and it may have been a few other community people. Our garage was like a community center. Back then, the textile industry was booming. The tobacco industry was booming. And we had friends who they'd work at the mill 8 hours and come to the garage, and were working in the back and come to the garage. They weren't mechanics, but they'd bring a cantaloupe or watermelon or some bologna we fried on the stove.
Right.
It kept us going. So, but they weren't mechanics, but basically, my father was a master mechanic. Of course, we were too young, but we learned a lot. So.
And how was that what was the camaraderie, what was the atmosphere like for everyone else and I feel so we can say it really here, everyone else in the community, the local community, how was that build up to that race?
Well, actually, we could start engine up in the city. Okay. And can you imagine that today? The neighbors tolerated the engine, and they tolerated us we'd be working all night sometimes. We didn't, our garage never closed. My father would say to us, go in the house and get you 2 or 3 hours sleep and get back out here. But the thing now, when did he sleep? So it was a community thing, and people took pride in Wendell Scott.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I believe we have a clip on that too as well.
Racing the sport represented by the rebel flag.
Time frame that we were in the South racing, in the early 60s, we were all through the early 60s, the demonstrations and things that Martin Luther King was doing for our people, things were going on in Montgomery, Birmingham. We'd be actually racing in those cities.
Wow. I'm going to ask another question in addition to that, especially with the picture that's showing right now. So, what was the turnout like from the community to these different races, and what was that like?
Not so much. Once we was raising a dam, of course the community would come out and everybody was excited, but we went on the road. They didn't have transportation, couldn't afford to go, so there weren't that many there. Basically, it was just us and the fans, and wasn't too many of those black people.
Gotcha. Wow. Mr. Scott, let's another question. What effect, positive or negative, did him winning the Jacksonville 200 have on your family?
Well, let's deal with the positive first. Of course, there was some negativity. The positive part about it was that he proved that he could do what he knew he could do. And that was to outrun everybody. He passed Ricky Petty on lap 176, and he led the rest of the race. Show his mechanical knowledge and engineering abilities, as I spoke about. When he got there, that track was a terrible, rough, rutted track. So my father came with the idea to soften up his suspension. How did he do that? Normally, a race car has 2 shocks on each wheel. Sometimes not so much on the left front, but each wheel has 2 shocks. So what he did, he took 1 shock off of each wheel to loosen the suspension up. so the car would float over the bumps instead of jumping all around. Okay, not only did he do that, but he also put a sulfur. Each shock has a different stiffness. He put soft shocks around and had one shock on each wheel. And he was able, he said he was just like he was riding a Cadillac or Lincoln, just riding over the bumps. Everybody else was jumping around, he was just floating by. So, now the negative part was it wouldn't drop a checkered flag. And he knew that he had lapped the field like 2 or 3 times, at least twice. And the person that they flagged the race, the winner of the race, I think he had lapped him 3 times. So he was waiting for them to drop a checkered flag. Well, when lap 200 came, there was no checkered flag.
Wow.
Okay? Lap 201 came, there was no checkered flag. So lap 202, they finally dropped the checkered flag, but they didn't drop it on him. They awarded Buck Baker the win, had him in 3rd place, Jack Smith in 2nd place. And it wasn't until after a protest, many hours later, everybody was gone. The Beauty Queen was gone, of course. The fans were gone. And they did tell him, guess what, Wendell, you did win the race. He said, I know G.E. well won it.
Now, for those that aren't familiar with the tradition of winning the race and how that correlates with the Beauty Queen, can you tell them what that really meant?
Normally, it's a little different than today, but back then, the major races, whoever won the race, they had a Beauty Queen, and they would kiss the winner. Okay? So, naturally, in 1963, everything, well, even in 2017, someplace, that was a problem. That was a problem. And so they would not award him the win. And this is what they said. They were afraid there was going to be a race riot, or that even he would be in danger. Okay.
Wow. What position did he start in?
I can't remember.
Okay.
17th. 17th.
Wow. We have a clip from this.
Did win the Jacksonville 200 in December of 1963. His big win, like everything else for him in life, came the hard way. What happened in Florida that Sunday remains one of the most infamous events in racing history.
61 Chevy.
Winner of Grand National race should have been my high point of my racing career, but
Handsome, isn't it?
it was over. They had me in 3rd place, and I went up there arguing with him, and he said, "What you think you won the race?" I said, "I know I won the race."
Joe Ekman, the chief scorer, Buck, Wendell, and I were in Joe's car and going over the scorecards, each card, comparing them, and found out that Wendell had missed. Well, either 1 or 2 laps, and had run the 200 laps in less time than Buck had run. And actually, Wendell had run 2 laps further. Buck had run 200, Wendell had run 202 when we put in the missed laps. It took that long to check and satisfy Buck that 2 laps had been missed on Wendell, and that he was rightfully the winner.
Wendell won the race, and of course, in the fact that he was a black driver and wasn't supposed to beat white drivers, and they waited until all the fans had left. There wasn't a single spectator on the ground at Jacksonville Speedway when it was finally determined that Wendell Scott was the winner.
The myth or the reports all indicate that it was either they didn't want Wendell kissing the Beauty Queen, or they just didn't want a black person winning the race. And I think, I just don't believe that, because Wendell was such a part of the NASCAR community.
When he won the race in Jacksonville, Florida, once the Cup race, only 47 drivers in NASCAR history had ever won a race.
When they recounted the race, I'm the only man that ever won a Grand National race winning 2 minutes out. I got the win and the money, but I didn't get the trophy until about 2 or 3 months later. I really never got the trophy that I won. They had a big, beautiful trophy there.
The simple Jacksonville sits alone in a dark corner of Scott's trophy room.
Wow. That's very interesting. I've seen the story, heard the story quite a few times. And every time, and that's just one race. How many races did he actually win that was not reported or recorded?
Well, actually, he won, in the lower division, he won 128 horseman modified races. There were times when he felt that his position, they did better than he was given credit for. Not only finishing the race, but also qualifying. But I can't go on record and say that it was any other time other than Jacksonville win.
Gotcha. Can you give us some insight into some of his top 5 finishes?
Well, we finished, of course, Jacksonville, was first place.
Right.
We finished 4th at Hillsborough. We finished 5th at Bristol. I can't think of, can you think of a couple?
We had 20 top 5.
No, but he's talking about some of the other top 5s.
You just remember off some. Just
Yeah.
quite a few.
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach.
A lot of them, a lot of them, Greenville, South Carolina, all over the place.
All of this is interesting. I say the word interesting a lot of people because I'm interested in it. Okay? It's interesting to me. And I'm moderating, so I'm in charge. Can I ask you another question? And it's supposed to be the last one, but I feel like there's more. But give me with this for now. Can you point out some of his global achievements in the realm of education, film, and television?
Well, we can start with Grease Lightning, the movie, the major motion picture Grease Lightning, that went all over the world and still playing all over the world. We participated in 3 docudramas. He was at Ebony Magazine in May of 1960, as well as 1966. Jet Magazine, Sepia Magazine. There's so many things. It's been far-reaching, and even when he was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame, I received a call from the United Kingdom, from the Guardian newspaper, and they were all excited about it. They wanted to talk about it. So my father, he was and I'll take a line from one of the ministers who spoke at his funeral. I'm not trying to be political in here, but it kind of fits. He described my father as a builder of men. He was a builder. He bridged the gap between people. He brought together tens of thousands of people to make help change their heart and their mind about people, about individuals. So his legacy is, you can't measure where his legacy is because we heard from people from all over the world. We've heard about Wendell Scott, and we feel that he did so much for race relations in the South during some turbulent times. We mentioned racing all over the South on the march from Selma to Montgomery. We actually raced in those places. Birmingham, we raced in all those places. We were down there, and his demeanor was such that he was very humble. He was furious, competitive, but he was a humble and a kind person, and he never met a stranger. He picked more hitchhikers up on the road than anybody, I think, in the world, and brought them down. They actually lived with one slept in our tub.
Oh, wow.
He
had a pillow and a blanket, and every night he'd get going to bed now. He'd go get in the tub. So he was a great humanitarian. And it's been, even when soldiers returned home from the army with the GI Bill, he would take them and train them to be mechanics, help them to get their license.
Wow.
He did so many things that's true story could never really be told. But he loved children. He would do anything for a child. That's the kind of man he was.
And I see that. I feel his heart through the foundation now. Awarded heading it up and continuing that heart movement, dealing with the youth. That is definitely something that I stand behind and I advocate on behalf of. Well,
Can I share a couple of stories? Y'all got time to hear a couple of stories? We got time?
all right, you the boss.
Okay. No, you boss.
I'm gonna turn mine down, turn it off.
In 1954, my father went to race. He was he was winning races in North Carolina, Virginia. So he was always trying to branch or spread, grow. So there was a race at Lakewood Speedway in Atlanta, Georgia, April 1954. He called a promoter and asked him, could he come down there? He told him he was a Negro, And he said, well, we heard about you. We'd love to have you come down. So my father, he goes down there. When he gets to the track, everybody didn't know he was a black man, okay? So there was some kind of disruption right there. Because those drivers down there, they weren't accustomed to racing against a black Negro, or whatever you call it. So he said, well, you go to park down the field and everything will be all right. So everybody was practicing. My father wanted to go on the track and practice. But what happened, the promoter came down and said, well, Wendell, what do they call him, Wendell Scott, you're not going to get a race today. So my father said, why? He said, you promised me. He said, well, the ambulance company said if you get hurt, they're not going to take you to the hospital. And rules are rules. We got to have an ambulance for everybody. So my father, he said, well, if I get hurt, throw me in the back of the truck and take me to the hospital. So that's how brave he was. So then my father, he was always coming up with ways to survive. So he went to the promoter, he said, don't you all have black funeral homes in Atlanta? They said, yeah, we got 3 or 4. He said, well, how about calling one of those funeral homes and tell them to send a hearse out here? If I get hurt, put me in the hearse. So he said, I don't know, we'll see. So time went on, he missed all the practice. He missed the preliminary races. So finally a hearse came onto the track. And so he came and told us, said, well, you can line up at the end at the back of the pit field for the feature event. So he was fine with that. This was a mild clay dirt track. I mean, dangerous track. A lot of people a lot of drivers had lost their lives there. It was a dangerous speedway. But that didn't faze him. Anyway, they started the race, and on about the 4th lap, a driver by the name of Roy Bobbitt was involved in an accident. And he ended up with a fractured skull, to make a long story short. This will be verified in the Atlanta Constitution, whatever it says in the history book. And so when the ambulance driver tried to start the ambulance, it wouldn't start. They tried to jump it off, it still wouldn't start. So, I bet y'all can guess what happened. So anyway, the hearse carried him to the hospital.
Of course it did.
And, but the bad part about it, they came to my father and said, you're going to have to park your car. And they wouldn't allow him to finish the race because there's not an ambulance to take you to the hospital. Okay? So it wasn't a problem. That was in 54, 55. We went back there in 1965. And he actually raced on that speedway, but that's one of the things that happened. Also, in 1962, in July 1962, my father set a half-mile dirt track record, world record, in Savannah, Georgia. Let me know if I'm talking too long, I cut off. And in the driver's meeting, my brother and I were there. One of our famous drivers walked up, and I'm not going to call his name, and said, who's on the pole tonight? So this driver named Bob Welborn, and I will call his name, said 2 niggas. So my father had lost his hearing in one of his ears by then. And Earl Brooks, one of our friends and co-drivers, asked my father if he heard what Bob said. They said, no, what did he say? And he said, he called you a nigger. But then I went over to Bob right in the middle of the meeting. My brother and I standing right beside my father. And said, Bob, you called me a nigger? He said, yeah, I called both of us a nigger. He said, I got some nigger in me because I got some Indian in me. So my dad said, well, you might be, but I'm a Negro. And so anyway, and this chief steward made my brother and I leave the track. We went and stood on the edge of the track. And so when they dropped the green flag, though, my father's walking straight away on the field. And he actually finished the race, but we had some engine trouble. Dropped a push rod, but he finished the race. And that's just one of those things. Last story. My brother was in the Army then. We were going to Daytona. I think you may have met us there. Well, my father had a guy in this Cadillac limousine from a funeral home in Downey. It was rumored, so don't quote me. It was President Eisenhower's Cadillac limousine, 54 Cadillac. Can't verify it, but it had all the features of it. Armored glass, steel doors, everything. Yeah, it had a gold plate in the dashboard. Anyway, so we had worked right up to the last minute to get to Daytona to get signed in. And so my father asked me how I felt, could I drive to Daytona? He had an operation. He was weak. He's ulcerated stomach. I told him, I can drive to Daytona. So my dad, we had my 4 sisters. Like I said, my brother was in the Army. We had 2 other crewmen with us. My dad sat in the seat beside me. My mother sat on the outside door. That limousine, it was 11 of us in it. They had a bench seat you could let out of the front seat and make a 3rd row. You know, it had everything in it. It was a limousine. And so we were trying to get there, and we got down there about 7:30. About 7:30 that morning, I met a state man down around Jacksonville. I was running over 90 miles an hour. We pulled in the race car with a tow bar, got an engine in the trunk, 2 box. The back of the Cadillac was set about that far off the ground. And I met him. I looked down the street, and I looked like I was running about 92, 95, whatever. My dad was laying right beside me. I tell you how cool he was. I said, oh, Lord, man, I just met the state man. You know what he told me? Take him to Daytona. So he told me, take him to Daytona. And that evening, when we got back to where we were staying, I said, Dad, you told me to take that man to Daytona. And my brother took him. And I said, that man would lock me up if he turned. He didn't turn around and chase us. You know, you couldn't hardly see it, and he probably didn't know who we were. We were driving a Cadillac anyway. Pulling a race car, he probably thought we was some big shot. And he said, all the thing he said, oh boy, I got y'all. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it a nice, warm round of applause to Mr. Frank Scott. We're going to turn it back over to Ward, and we're going to move into some Q&A.
All right. Once again, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
So we have 1 or 2 few hidden nuggets with this evening's production. But I want to give you guys a chance to ask some questions, okay? So I have, with my mentors from the Wendell Scott Foundation, please stand up. Y'all give them a good round of applause. Not all of them are here, but many of them are here, and they start very early in the morning and work well into the evening, nurturing the aspects of the children we serve lives in order to make it better for them, okay? So I really appreciate you guys. I don't get to tell you, get all emotional right there in front of people that fuss all the time. I really appreciate y'all, man. I really do. Okay, so now we are here for the Q&A. All right, so if you have a question for my dad, or even my Uncle Wendell who's sitting here, just politely raise your hand, and one of these gentlemen will come over and bring the mic. We want to please keep it brief because we have 1 or 2 more things that we want to get to before the evening closes, okay? So here we go.
What kind of innovation
he was able to take, a lot of times we didn't have tools that we needed to do certain jobs. He would take a tool, he'd make a tool, he'd alter a tool. He would do things to get the job done. I mean, he would sand it, cut it, twist it, do whatever he needed to do to get it done. One time we were getting ready to go to Daytona and we needed some pistons for the engine. So we went down to Charlotte to hoping to move the scrap pile and got some pistons. He went to try to buy some pistons. They said they didn't have any, they wouldn't sell it to him. They said, we got some junk stuff out there, you go out there, help yourself to that. So that was right down his alley. So we went and got some pistons, but the pistons had cracks on them, right? On the side of them. So Dad came back and he drilled a hole at the end of the crack, larger than the crack. And he went today, had four pistons in that engine, and we ran 500 miles that day. You know, I think that it's also important to mention that my father drove the 7 Daytona 500s, 7 firecrackers, and actually 22 times he raced at Daytona, and he finished 21 times. That includes qualifying and consolation racing. So, I mean, he was just, he was awesome.
That goes right into my next question. What you just said, does your family hold any patents?
Do we have the patents?
Yes.
We, in a sense we do. In a sense we do have, you know, with the foundation, I mean, we're legal. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, it's an honor to be here today amongst greatness. Meeting, the Scott family and all is awesome because now I have the ability to say that I know the first black PGA golfer and now the first black NASCAR driver. I think that's awesome. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being here too. Spread the foundation. Okay.
Hello. From a woman's perspective, I just wanted to know what your mother's role was in your father's career.
She was the backbone. She was everything. She was the one who was with him all the time. I mean, she actually used to tow the race car. She would drive the truck, pull the race car. She kept the food coming. Because we couldn't go to restaurants, right? So in order for us to have a decent meal, she fried chicken and pancakes and potato salad, and she did everything. But basically, she was his encourager. And sometimes she was his protector. One time my father was actually poisoned in Dover, Delaware after a race. And I can remember my mother. He drove 500 miles a day. Someone came to the race car. At that time, fans would come into the pit area and offered him a drink. It looked like a cup of nice cold orange juice, but it had a Mickey in it. And see, my father never smoked or drank. He never smoked or drank. He did transport a little drink, but he wasn't a drinker, he wasn't a smoker. So anyway, that particular evening, my mother sat in the back of the car and held him in her arms because he didn't know where he was. For about 36 hours, he was disoriented, and he was like a wild beast. Actually, he was trying to jump out of the car. He didn't know where he was, what was going on. From that day on, he never touched anything else that the family more than given. So, he dealt with death threats. We had death threats. We had so many things that we had to change our route out of Birmingham one time because we were going to be sabotaged on the highway. A trap was being set. So a lot of things went on, but he never showed any fear. He never showed any quit. He just said, that's what they're going to have to do. I'm going.
You talked about your father's tireless work ethic, and you said he was a mechanical engineer without a formal education. Have you ever thought about what might have become of him if doors had been opened for him early on in education? If he had had a chance to earn degrees, or if he didn't have to work so hard to pull himself up, have you ever thought about what he might have become?
Yeah, obviously, but you know, he passed it on to us, and he made sure all of his children had the opportunity to go to college. And he sent all of us to college, you know, and he was real big on education. And he made sure that we, you know, we pursued and we didn't just, he made sure we excelled, you know, so that part he knew he couldn't change. But he took what he had, and he made the most of it. And that's why the Wendell Scott Foundation is so important.
The question I have for you, Mr. Frank, is, and even for your brother, what was your reaction when you got that call, or what was the process of you being notified about NASCAR and how that has actually changed the way people view Danville, Virginia, and the Wendell Scott legacy?
Further to my brother, go ahead. Reaction, just make love, we repeat that question.
The reaction you felt once you got the call, or what steps was it that you guys had to take to get Wendell and NASCAR? What was that feeling, and what was the process? And why so long?
You mean the Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
Okay.
NASCAR.
Okay.
That's a good question. It was total elation. If you see in the film on it, you think we were at a football game. We felt, my brother and I felt the emotion for Dad. It's always about him. What he missed. But the funny part about Daddy was he would predict everything that has happened. He knew he was in the Hall of Fame. He knew that his grandchildren would do things such as they're doing now. He knew that the world would change as a result of some of the things he's done. This isn't about me today, but I ended up mentoring drivers, as females. My brother, as y'all know, one of the greatest coaches in this area ever. Daddy went to all his games, just like he was going to a race. He prepared to go to Frankie's game. He'd go to the locker room with him. His loyalty to humanity was incredible. So when he finally was inducted in the Hall of Fame, I felt like it was 20 years too late. My dad lived almost 20 years after he retired. He was a Hall of Famer then.
We want to stop right there.